So if you run a business for 2 years, you own at least 5% of the share capital. If you sell that business, you claim entrepreneur's relief up to the first £1 million. If you don't use up £1 million, then you can sell a subsequent business, and obviously you've got the carryover of however much you've got left.
That's a lifetime carryover.
Lifetime carryover. It used to be £10 million.
Yeah.
It was changed, I think, in 2018 to 1 million, which sounds stupid to me.
If you sell your shares, so if you own 5%, you sell your shares.
That's fine. Yes.
It is, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Your shares or your business. Or if you've got 3 businesses in one, so for example, if you're doing service accommodation, and you're doing rent to rent, and you're doing deal sourcing, as long as those 3 businesses can be identified separately, if you sell part of them, or one of those businesses, you still claim entrepreneur's relief, or it's called business asset disposal relief. So it's quite good that way. Huh? Once you've used it up, then you've got to pay 20% tax as opposed to 10% tax. So where possible, you want to try and make sure you can utilize business asset disposal relief. Now what sometimes happens is somebody might use one of their own assets for the purpose of their business. So where this usually happens is somebody might have, let's say, a commercial property that they allow their business to use. As long as they don't charge rent on the property, they can sell the property within 3 years of having sold their business and claim entrepreneur's relief on the property too, which is quite good. But if you charge rent to your business for the use of the property, then you can't claim entrepreneur's relief, because then it becomes an investment activity. Yeah, does that make sense? More often than not, people will charge rent, but sometimes they don't. And I'll quickly talk you through that in a minute. If you've charged rent for some of the time, then you get relief for the period that you haven't charged rent for. So if you've allowed your business to use your commercial property for 10 years, for example, and you've charged rent for 6 years, and you haven't charged rent for 4 years, then you get 40% relief on the total gain, yeah? So
if you charge reduced rent,
no, that's not going to work.
prove it, okay.
No. So it has to be on, yeah. So we had a case on Entrepreneur's Relief where this guy was selling cars from his forecourt, and what he then did was he moved to the countryside in Peterborough and then started selling cars online. Now his accountant claimed entrepreneur's relief at the time, this is going back 10 years, and said the business had ceased trading. And what he did was he sold his forecourt 2 years, 11 months and 29 odd days, okay, after having moved into the countryside. So just a day or two before the 3-year timeline. And HMRC looked into the case and said you can't claim entrepreneur's relief because you were selling cars on your forecourt on a high street. Now you've moved into the countryside and you're selling cars from home, which is what he was doing. So his accountant was pretty buggered, so he came to us and we took that case to tribunal, and we demonstrated to the tribunal that previously he was selling cars on a forecourt, so somebody comes along, has a look at a few cars, may test drive 1 or 2, negotiates and buys or doesn't buy a car. Now he's selling cars from home, and he's selling cars from home mainly through the internet, so online, so it's an e-commerce business. E-commerce is a very different business to people walking into your shop or to your forecourt. And the tribunal agreed, said this is a very different business. This is an e-commerce business versus a walk-in business. So he was able to claim entrepreneur's relief. Now that was quite tight, by the way. Okay, it could have gone either way. But you've got to be very clear on the rules, and he saved, I think, about £35,000 in capital gains tax because he'd claimed entrepreneur's relief on the sale of his business premises. Yeah? So you just got to know how to navigate the law. What used to happen was, let's say Ashok is doing a commercial conversion, buys a commercial property, converts it into 10, 15 flats, and then says, I now want to take all of my money out. He would then appoint a liquidator and go through a voluntary liquidation. And once you've done that, you can take all the cash out and claim entrepreneur's relief. So he would do that, and then 6 months later, okay, open up a new company, and then start all over again, okay? And that used to be quite popular. And about 5 or 6 years ago, HMRC introduced anti-avoidance rules, which basically said if you have a business and you do a voluntary liquidation, and then you can't go into the same sector, not just the same trade, the same sector for the next 2 years. So if Ashok wants to do that again, he's got to wait 2 years and then to do his next commercial conversion.
A lot of consultants, contractors did that for many years.
So now 35 came in.
Yeah, it proved very popular, but like restarting after 2 years, liquidate your company and then restart again and carry on.
Yeah.
And then every 2 years you build a little pot.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs relief 10%
Yeah.
30 days.
Yeah. Because obviously, not obviously, but quite a few contractors tend to take the least amount possible, so they'll take a smaller salary, 8, 10, 12,000 pounds. This is going back prior to 2015, and then take best part of 37,000 pounds in dividends, pay no tax on the dividend, and then they've got the rest of the money left in their bank account. So they, again, depends on their personal expenditure, but usually they should just use up the basic rate of tax. So after year 2 or 3, they've got 250 grand plus in their bank account, sat there doing nothing, and so they're thinking, what do we do? Well, liquidate, take all the cash out, pay 10% tax, as opposed to paying 32.5% by taking it as a dividend or distribution, and then go again after 2 years. Yeah. What they should
Get PAYE job for 2 years.
No.
How would they just literally immediately go?
Just live on the money you've taken up and you pay 10% on. So you've got 250.
But you've got to wait 2 years, yeah?
Yeah.
So they just do nothing for 2 years.
But you've got 220 grand in the bank account.
Right.
Yeah. On which you paid,
Holiday, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you took that 250 out in one go, for example, you'd probably have about 160 grand.
Yeah.
So it's a significant difference. And if the figure is bigger, by the way, if it's 500,000, 750 grand, it's an even bigger difference. So
Is that called phoenixing or not?
yeah, it is called phoenixing, yeah. So the rules are anti-phoenixing rules, which is mentioned in there, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So they've stopped us doing that for good.
Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, by the way, make sure you click like, subscribe and post a comment because that tells me that you're engaging and you're finding the content useful. And if you like this video, make sure you check out this video here because it's the next stage in terms of your learning and development.